not creating roller coasters, but we are going to be creating an entrance, pretty much. So we're going to go into the sandbox, and I like the tropical sandbox park, so we're going to go into that. And what we're going to be doing today is literally going to be creating an entrance building, and to see how awesome we can create an entrance using putting some time into it. And that's going to be the main thing that we're going to be doing here. So we're going to be using the tropical thing here, which is what I used yesterday on my roller coaster, launch coaster that I made. And I kind of just like the entrance. You know, you have this bridge going over the tropical water and stuff. And I think I still have my graphics on ultra, so I might be a little bit lagging. So we're going to go drop that down to high. That way I can at least play the game without any dropping frames there. That's a little bit better. And first thing I usually do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this entrance right there. And get rid of the pathways here. Now, it all depends on what kind of course, what kind your theme is going to be. And the bad part about this is you can't actually change the color of these pathways. So we're going to go ahead and go with the colored path that it already has. Now, for an entrance, you usually like to make like a nice little plaza at the entrance here. And to do that, a nice thing to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn off all these. That way we have no curbs and no railings. Well, I might actually keep the curbs on. We're going to go ahead and keep the curbs on. So that way it kind of matches that. And we can actually select the grid. We're going to place one first. It's always nice to do square edges. I mean, you don't have to, but I like doing these square edges for entrances of parks. That's just kind of me. Now, we're going to go through here and just create a nice set of pathways. A nice set of path here. And this is kind of how the format that I have always used for the entrance of my parks. You can always do it different, but I usually put like some ticket booths, stuff like that on the sides, and of course you have the main entrance of the park itself right at the front here. Now, it just kind of depends on what you want to do. And now, since we have such a big plot of literally just pathways, we're going to want to go ahead and fill that up just a little bit, you know, that way it's not one big empty pathway. What I usually do is I go into the walls, and I usually go into and find a wall that has a round shape to it, because I love using the round shape. We can do rough concrete. We're going to use the rough concrete. I'm going to lower this down just a little bit. You don't have to be very precise at the start, but I usually like to put like a nice little spot for little planters, or just a nice little thing here too. So this is what we're gonna do. And now that we got that, we're gonna center it a little bit. We're gonna press X. We're gonna center this up as best as we can, kind of like so. And we're gonna go in here, edit building. But for everyone that has just been joining very recently, it's nice to have you here, and I hope you guys enjoy what I have in store. And apparently I inspired someone to make a park like Cedar Point. That's really cool. Good luck with it, and I hope you stick with it, because it's hard to be patient and go through and finish a park. That is for sure. So just make sure you have patience. Because I've always had like some issues with that, and I always end up moving on sometimes because I'm like, oh, I got a better idea, or this park isn't working for me as well as I'd hoped, and yeah. So I usually just throw a lot of these bushes in here. It makes it look like grass, kind of. Now, one thing you gotta do if you want to avoid the guests actually walking through here, because this is not an interactive or an object that they'll walk around, literally just throw some litter bins, and you're going to have to test this to see if it works, but just throw some litter bins and some park benches on all the sides here. And just maybe, just hopefully, they won't walk through any part of it. Just kind of like that. And something you can do, what I usually do with the centerpiece is I either, I would usually, either you could put a lot of planters in it, make it look nice and pretty, or you can actually put a park sign in here to kind of say welcome to or something like that. In this case, we're just going to make this look pretty and actually put some bushes and just little items like that to make it look good. So what we're going to be doing here is we can actually go to these flowers here and actually change the color of them. I'm going to go ahead and leave it these yellow because I think they look quite nice. So I'm going to put these on the edge here. We're just going to circle around. Now, these flowers are very useful because these are the recolorable flowers that you can actually use for different things. Now, you can also rotate these as well if you want. I don't always do rotation. I know a lot of people say to do that to make them look a little bit more realistic and less, the same. But in all reality, they are all the same, and you can't really do much about that. I think it gives a more symmetrical look if you do not actually rotate them. It gives them a little, the same look, and like they're all the same flower going all the way around. So we're just going to place flowers all the way around here. You can place trees. Now, one thing I do not usually do is place trees in here, simply because it can block the view that you can get from the entrance from walking into the park, and that's very important that people can see your nice, beautiful entrance, along with like a planter like this that has like nice little flowers and stuff like that. Now, I'm not always perfect in these, so you can see it got a little off right there, but no one's gonna notice too much. And you can also put like larger. We're gonna put some larger flowers in here. I'm always different of what I do each time, so I'm just gonna place a nice amount of flowers and bushes in here to give a nice little flower bed planter thing that you want. And it's always not a bad idea to like copy these, and you can actually put these throughout your parks a little bit if you'd like. And yeah, this is just kind of a little basic one, nothing too fancy. And also another good thing to do is also add some lamp posts and stuff like that to them as well. It sheds a little light out onto the if you want them exactly symmetrical, you can do Control X and actually drag them over. That way they are completely parallel from each other. Always comes in handy. You can put those there, and I think I'm going to put some also at the ends here as well. Just going to do that. Make mine kind of parallel. And obviously I didn't have it centered. I completely didn't have it centered, so we're going to move that over just a little bit. Now, one thing that they probably will do is walk right through right here, so it's also a good idea to maybe put a park bench in the front here as well. Otherwise, they're going to walk straight through that because I have that big opening right there that is not blocking them. And, of course, you're going to want to test that to see if it works, but it's nice to just put those in there and just to have it surrounded by the pathway. I think that's always a good thing to have. So just a nice little planter, and you can place little smaller ones maybe on the sides as well. That actually works. Now, usually you can start with like the tickets or whatever booth that you want to do, buildings on the sides, if you even want to do that. Or you can have it implemented into your building or entrance building. There's a lot of different ways you can make entrances, but it's always a good idea to start with the entrance first before you do these buildings. That's just my opinion. But I always think it's a good idea. And sometimes I'll even go a little further back here before I place my entrance building. So and then I just move it to where I want it. So so I can kind of design it over here and then just kind of move it to the correct location. So what we're going to do, the first thing I usually do is kind of try and find a foundation piece. So like a small castle piece, whether it's a brick piece or something like that. So, even this brick piece would even work quite well. You can use whatever you want and recolor to your needs, just kind of whatever you're looking for. And yeah, I always start with these usually. So we're going to start off with, let's just use a regular brick piece here, and I'm going to keep that color. And usually, depending on how big you want your entrance, I want to have 3 ticket booths, separate ticket booths here. Now, there's different styles of entrances, obviously. You can have kind of like a traditional style, or you can have kind of like a modern style like Cedar Point, and there'll actually be some of them that just have one big opening with all the ticket booths there. I usually go for more traditional style most of the time, and that is just me. Usually I will sometimes do 2 wide, but when I'm going a little bit smaller, we're going to go a little bit smaller here. Just kind of make some cubes here, and what you want to do usually for the outside pieces is kind of create this kind of structure like this. Usually works pretty well, and just depends on how big you want them. Usually I always go for making the shape of my building first, and that's kind of a very basic shape for an entrance building. It's kind of small. As you can see, we have a lot of land or area here that we can actually work with. So I think I got an idea of how I'm going to create this entrance or what I'm going to do. So the next thing I usually do is go shops, facilities, press custom, and we're going to go ahead and import our park entrance here. And we're going to want to put these in between here, kind of like that. Those are usually yellow, and they're actually blue. That's interesting. Can you actually change those colors? No? I've never seen those blue before. Alright, so what we're going to do is, I'm actually going to get rid of these pathways. In fact, I probably didn't make it far enough away. See, now it's going to completely mess up all my paths that I wanted to do. So, I'm going to have to go back in paths. That was my bad. Select. Because I don't want those connected just yet. We're actually going to... Oh, these aren't even ticket booths. I thought I clicked on ticket booths. I was like, those aren't ticket booths. That's the reason why they look weird. I was like, those aren't right. I could have swore I clicked on ticket booth. Park entrance gate. Or entrance gate, rather. I totally clicked on those. That's kind of weird. Alright, now I gotta redo all that. There we go. Alright, now we got the entrances. I don't know why. I don't usually make that mistake, but I did that time. Alright, so now you have your entrances. Now you're ready to kind of build your entrance up, kind of. And now we're going to be looking at different wall pieces that we can use. A very popular one is, of course, the stucco wall. That actually goes very well with kind of a traditional style here, which actually always looks fantastic for your entrances. And if you're going for more like a western-y theme, it's always a good idea to use maybe a wooden, or a wood, or kind of like a wooden wall. Like I usually use these the natural wood batten walls. Those are actually really good. Or you can also, a good idea is also using the wooden planks as well. This looks really good as well. But for this purpose, we're making a generic entrance. So we're going to use the stucco wall. I always like the color it starts off with. I think that's a very generic color for a park entrance. So we're going to go ahead and use that. I know it's very cliche of using this color, not changing it. But we're just going to put some full wall pieces here. And just work all the way around and place them all the way around here. And we're going to have ourselves a nice generic entrance building. As you can see, it's starting to take shape already, which is actually really cool. And there's different ways to shape up your entrances and stuff like that, but I always found this to be kind of the funnest. So what we're going to do now is I usually go into the pitched roofs and it's always nice to do this. Go ahead and we're going to find wood tile roof, and these are always nice to kind of place along this like this. And now we're going to get kind of the larger ones, and I'm going to post it or place them across like this. And this is very basic stuff. You can usually, sometimes I make these end pieces a little bit bigger, but for now this is going to be very basic and small, and this is how we're going to use them. So there's a lot of different entrances, but entrance styles you can use, but just to go very basic here, we're going to be using this. And we're going to be detailing a lot of this building as well, just to give it that little extra layer of detail. I guess I forgot to place the last one here, just to make sure they're connected to each other. They look quite nice and stuff like that. So that looks pretty good, and there's a lot of different things that we can do. One of which is usually the two middle pieces, maybe make like a small little thing like this, and then we can get into possibly some spire pieces. And I'll usually change this color to try and match what we have. Kind of something like that. Always adds on to the little bit of details as well. And it might not be a bad idea to make even another one on the end pieces as well, which these are going to be, you want to make the end pieces ones just probably a little bit taller. So we're going to place these over here as well. That way it gives a little bit more difference here. Did I make that an end or side piece? Yes, I did. Alright, we can just duplicate this. And you can see they're a little bit taller. I don't know why that one keeps changing my height. There we go. Alright, so this is kind of a very basic looking entrance so far. As you can see, it's not very well detailed. So we're gonna want to kind of detail these a little bit, as much as we can, because little details can always make a huge difference. Now, if you want to go a little bit lazy, sometimes you can go with the wooden post here. Kind of post these on like all your corners and stuff like that. We're not going to do that. We're going to actually use the thick wooden beam and kind of go a little bit more advanced here. And I'm going to go the advanced move tool, angle snap this, and kind of snap it kind of like this. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to change, I'm actually going to change the color of this kind of to a nice dark red. And I'm going to place these kind of in different spots, kind of like that. And I'm also going to rotate it back vertically. And I want to actually kind of create kind of like a trim here. And the only difference is I want that to go down, all the way down. We can actually Control X this and move it all the way to the end here. And you just it's kind of like some extra layer of detail. Now we can also put like a window in here if we'd like, which also look pretty good, kind of like that. And then also maybe a awning as well, and just whatever kind of awning you want. Very generic is sometimes these look pretty good, or you can use these if you'd like, or we can use the striped colored ones, which is kind of an interesting one as well. I think we're going to go ahead and use this one. It looks kind of cool. Looks pretty good. And as for the colors, let's go with dark red, kind of like that, and a yeah, let's use that yellow. So that's pretty neat, and you can go even further into detail if you'd like to, and you can go into the scenery options. I'm going to drag this all the way down, and you can actually find some align to surface here, some window boxes with some nice flowers and stuff. I'm going to change the color of this to match everything else here. And that's just a nice little detail to add. And we can also go even further, which I probably should have done this first, but it doesn't really matter. We can go back to Windows and maybe even put like a little bit of one of these there, just to add a little bit of detail. Kind of looks cool. Just kind of whatever way you want, look-wise, whatever you're going for. I think this is actually going to look really neat. So I'm going to go back and we're going to I want to create like a trim kind of for the actual roof itself, the little slanted roof. So we're going to go to columns here. I want to see what a wooden trim would kind of look like on this, and I can actually change the color if I want. So we're gonna go into this. I want it popping out just a little bit, of course. We're gonna go all the way to the bottom, and we can actually change the color of this as well if we would like, which I think I'm gonna go ahead and do. And we're gonna post that to the top. I think I'm gonna move this just in the slightest to kind of go like that. That's great. And we're gonna use Control D now, and I'm gonna actually rotate it. And we're gonna use the advanced move tool to get this in the proper place as well by just moving it around. And we can go up. And that's pretty close right there. Just need to get the depth of it correct. Kind of like that. Alright, so now I kind of want to fill up this piece right here. As you can see, it's kind of square, kind of. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to just kind of experiment first off to see what this kind of looks like. And that looks kind of unique. Maybe even lower it just a pinch. And we want to make sure this is kind of centered over that piece right there, over that. And that's about perfect right there. I'm going to go to a smaller piece as well and fill up the spot right there. And there we go. That's a pretty well detailed first spot. Now, I have four possibilities where I could actually place this. So it's actually a good idea to go ahead and, since I like to keep everything kind of symmetrical, I'm going to go ahead and copy all the details that I've added. It would be this, and this. Make sure you got everything selected by holding Control, and then we can literally use Control X, which sometimes it does do this glitch, which is kind of very annoying, where it does it kind of slanted wise, which is actually really annoying. Not gonna lie. So that doesn't always happen. That glitch doesn't always happen. So we're gonna try this again. And it gets kind of annoying because if you want to reselect everything, you have to go in and do this all over again. Oh, I didn't want to select that. Make sure you don't select the wall itself. That's not what we want. There we go. So I'm going to do Control D and then press X. Actually, that doesn't work, I guess. Never mind. It's still going to do that. But if you're very good at this moving thing, you can actually kind of place it figure it out a little bit. You're just going to have to work on it kind of here. Alright, that's not going to work. So another option is to actually do pieces at a time here, which is actually kind of interesting. Alright, that will go there. For some reason I don't know why that glitch is happening. As you can see, it doesn't always do it either. It's only on certain objects. Like if you just do that one, That one's fine. Like, totally fine. But if I select certain objects, it's going to do that. And I almost want to say it might be scenery objects that do that. I don't know exactly how that happens. So we can actually, just for this, we can click, boom. For certain things, we can do this. Oh yeah, and then that is a good point that someone just actually brought up. You can actually select a wall piece instead. That's actually a way to get around it that I actually completely forgot. I actually thank you for that, because I actually completely forgot about that you can actually do that. So if you actually do go back and go in here and select everything you want, we're going to do this again. Now, these are all freeform objects that can actually go on any surface and be placed anywhere, and is not limited to the grid. But if you select something that is in the grid, like say a wall, and do Control D, it will actually stay to that grid. So that's always a very helpful tip that I actually did forget, and it was actually very helpful. So thanks for letting me remember that. And if you don't want that extra wall in there, you can literally go in and delete it like I just did there. So that actually works out very well. And we can copy that all four sides. I should have done that before I actually I clicked on that. So I'm just getting ahead of myself. Alright, so we're going to do this again, but this time we're going to make sure it's select... Oh, crap. I forgot to select the wall. I don't know why I have to make all these mistakes, but it costs me precious time. Alright, so we're going to get all these selected again. Don't forget the wall, don't forget the wall. There we go, and now it's on the grid. So we're going to post it to every side. See, it always keeps it selected. Kind of like so. There we go. And now I can go delete the extra wall for rendering purposes. Okay. Now that we got all those are looking quite nice. We kind of want to do a similar thing for the rest of the entrance to make it look nice as well. So, it's also not a bad idea to almost kind of copy a couple of these things or objects and use them over here too. Like I want to use this trim for all the walls. We can very well do that, because I do like this trim for all the walls, and it makes it look nice and pretty. So we're going to place all these here. And those look quite nice. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all those extra walls. Just kind of like that. And as you can see, we got all those. And another good idea that is also a good idea, we're going to go ahead and place these. And I'm going to make these slightly different by, we're going to hold F, and then I'm going to push X to make sure I'm centered. And I'm going to make double windows here. And those are actually placed pretty nicely. So now I'm going to go ahead and do Control X, and I'm just going to place these all over here. And every one. Now here's another option. You can make these look like the ticket booths if you would very much like to. It's all up to you. But for this case, I don't think we're going to. We're going to use those for different things. So, and then to give it a little bit more character, we can add like different awnings and stuff if we would like. Kind of want these a little higher up. And these aren't going to snap properly where I want them, so we're just going to use the advanced move tool to get all of these placed. in the proper spot. Now, those are kind of interesting right there. I'm also going to get the window boxes here with the flowers. Just add some good. Just add some nice little touches here. And there you have it. We're starting to come in quite nicely, and as you can see, these other parts are just kind of getting a little dull as well. It's never a bad idea to add some, possibly some windows up here as well. I usually try to use different windows throughout the time I'm using all these. I try to find for taller ones, kind of like a wider one or something possibly like these. These are actually really good to use. And we're going to use those on these. And there you go. We're starting to have a pretty decent start to an entrance here. It's cool to actually put some flags up on top here. Very optional, but and then maybe put them at a little bit of an angle. I always like putting flags on top of spires. It just adds that little extra detail that looks quite nice. I kind of wish they were animated flags that actually blew in the wind. I wish they did have some of those. That actually be really cool. At least more like this flag. This flag's like an actual realistic flag. Those, however, are not. They're just kind of still. And I don't really want pirate flags. So, anyways, I think I'm going to go ahead and copy these details to the other side as well. So we're going to select the wall as well, and we're going to put them on this side. And that looks pretty darn good. I'm going to delete I'm just going through and deleting the extra wall pieces that I don't want rendered. But yeah, making a very standard entrance, and that's exactly what this is. It's a very kind of typical theme park entrance. They always end up turning out different for me, or looking different, and which is absolutely okay. So this is just a very basic entrance. And by the way, after I am completed here, I will be uploading these buildings to the Steam Workshop, just in case you guys want to use them themselves. That's kind of the purpose of this video, to kind of share what I have made myself. So make sure angle snaps on so I get a precise placement here. I'm going to try and get rid of some of these cracks, as you can see in there. So we're going to have to turn off angle snap and get this a little precise here. Alright, so I'm going to hold down or press X to get that there. And then we can go through and actually put these in these spots. And I'm just like covering up those cracks that the roofs actually leave. I don't know why they leave those cracks. It's kind of a little bit of annoying, but it allows me to actually put a little bit more detail into the roof itself as well. Alright, so now one more extra layer of detail for the roof is we're going to actually build more of a roof trim, kind of like what we did here. So we're going to grab this piece, the same exact piece that we used earlier. I guess I had to angle snap off. Make sure that's turned on. And we're just going to use this kind of like a roof trim as well. And these are just very, very little details that end up, you know, they may not seem important, but they serve a purpose. And they actually look pretty darn good. And it helps look like those pieces are actually connected to something as well. So what you do on one side can easily be duplicated to the other side as well, which is actually really nice. So we're going to place all these across. I think there's actually a longer piece I could have used, but oh well. Always use those longer pieces to your advantage. There we go. And one more piece. There we go. Alright, so that's looking quite nice. And what we're going to be doing is actually going to select all these, and we're going to copy and paste it to the other side. It'll be just slightly easier to select these and copy it. As long as we get there, no problem. Alright, so I'm going to select a... we'll just select this wall piece. That way, we can keep it to the grid, and it can get a precise placement itself. Alright, well, let me see where that wall is so I can delete it afterwards. There we go. Alright, I'm going to deselect that. And didn't actually make that straight because it's actually reversed, so not all of them are straight. And to kind of fix that illusion, we're going to go ahead and actually get into here and use more magic. Because sometimes you can cheat your way out of this when something is going to be, you know, not noticed by a lot of people, or not noticed by, unless you look really closely. It can save you time, unless you are that absolute perfectionist. And there you have it. Just a little extra to the roofs, just kind of give them a little bit more character. I mean, you don't have to, but I kind of do sometimes, just for fun. Alright, I'm going to decorate. Go ahead and decorate this wall a little bit, because it's looking very boring to myself. Kind of make it look like that is actually connected to something. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to copy this everywhere you can find. Whoa. I don't know what I did there. And we're also going to do this to the other side as well. And there might be some more windows or other things you can place there too. There we go. And we gotta also look at those corners. I probably should have took care of this before I copied it. Great. But what we're gonna do is we could actually... So we're gonna take care of this corner issue right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and just manually place all these rather than copy them. Alright, go to the other side. And this side. And to this side. I know they're not 100% perfect, but overall, it's alright. So we're going to go over here to back to windows. I feel like we could add something else to this spot right here. I don't know. It's very empty to me. Whether it be a window or just something else, I don't exactly know what I'd put, what else I'm looking for here. This window actually works pretty well. It looks pretty good. I'm going to place it on all the sides. And there we go. So at this point, it's looking pretty well detailed, and it's actually pretty generic and looking and stuff like that. We still have a couple of spots that we could add a little bit more, like the sides here. We haven't really done anything to the side of the building, and I've done that on purpose, just for the sake of some other things that we're going to be working on. So anyways, that is our entrance building. The most crucial part for when a guest first enters a park is going to be the entrance building. So we're going to go ahead and place this in here where we need it. So I'm going to try my best to get as close as possible. I'm going to scooch it on down here and try and center this up with the plaza. Kind of like so. And now we have a nice entrance with nice planters here and stuff like that. Now, as you can see, the sides are very, very empty, and that's what we're kind of going to want to work on next, is you can fill those up with something like I usually just make some like ticket booths, and to make those I usually just use like information booths. They work actually very well. Now the reason why I didn't decorate the sides here, because there might be no need, because I'm going to go ahead and actually build off this with a new building. I'm going to use the same structure here, and I'm going to make like we're going to make a building coming off to the side here. And I know the pathway is going to get in the way of this, but we're not going to worry too much about this. So you can see that fits in there pretty well. And I usually like to, let's go ahead and get rid of that. Now you can make this interactive or not, it's up to you. Let's see what happens when I get rid of this path. Alright, so it's going to do that. So if I go to shops and facilities, I'm going to want to add an information booth. But it's up to you if you do want to add something that's actually interactable, something that's interactive. I should be editing this building, which I guess I was not. So we're going to go into this, and you want this to be lined up with this, which is not going to work because of the pathway. So I'm going to leave the pathway here, and we're going to make this non-interactive, which is totally fine, actually. So now you can change the color of the buildings if you want, but usually at the entrance I usually like to keep the buildings kind of in the same category and make them kind of all about the same. But you're free to do whatever you would want, because a lot of parks do kind of keep the same buildings, and to make these angle buildings really help out a lot to create a little bit more character and a little bit more uniqueness to the shape of your parks. Just to kind of start off, so I'm going to try and create this like this. Make it look like it's nice and connected. I'm actually going to use these. We're actually going to go ahead and use these corner pieces. Oh, there it is. Just for this. If I can find the right pieces, that is. That way they flow pretty smoothly right there and won't give us many issues. Alright, we can add, since we have another block up here, we can actually have a little bit of fun with this. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go back down to the stucco buildings, and we're going to create a couple more things here. So I'm gonna go ahead and add these here, and I'm gonna add actually some spires, more spires. Just to see how it looks. I might not go with this, but we'll see how it looks. I mean, it certainly looks okay. And we're gonna go flat roofs, rough concrete, and we'll just fill this in with some rough concrete. Kind of like that. Yeah, it looks alright. So our goal here is to kind of just create more buildings here that are going to serve as like ticket booths and etc. stuff like that. So what we're going to want to do is actually create what looks like a ticket booth. And since ours isn't going to be interactive, again, you can actually create real ticket booths using like some info booths and stuff like that. Those actually work pretty well that you can actually use. So I'm actually going to create an awning over this. See, if you had just one, that actually would work quite well. But since we don't, we can use this one, or we can use this one. And I'm a bigger fan of this one, which we're going to change the colors. To be the same kind of match. I'm going to keep them to match a little bit. And you can have multiple ones of these, but we're kind of like a smaller style theme park here. That's kind of what we're going for. Nothing too fancy. Alright, so what we're going to do is create a little bit of trim here around this. So it goes, kind of looks pretty decent. Alright, so we're going to do that. Kind of like that, and then you can put like a sign on top if you want. I usually like to use the, if I can find it, sometimes I like to use the ticket sign that is actually shaped like a ticket, and we'll actually name it tickets. Just for fun. Alright, so you can change the color of text. We don't want that blue in there, so we're going to change this kind of to a yellowish kind of color. Let's make this red. And instead of that, let's make that more reddish. And that looks kind of sharp. Let's go for the more dark red. There we go. That looks kind of sharp. Whatever you kind of prefer. So we can actually... We're going to go ahead and go in here and select these objects. And we're going to have multiple ones here. Kind of hard to select that sign, isn't it? This part of the building. At least it should be. There we go. Alright, we'll just duplicate it and move it over here. That way we have like 2 ticket booth stalls. I know that's kind of small. Usually they would have some more in case it does, like on a busier day or something like that. But for right now, we're just going to use those. And they look pretty decent. I mean, they look pretty good. We're going to have more and more different things connected to these. So I'm actually going to go around here and we're going to place some of those up there. Kind of decorate them. You can decorate them any which way you want. It's kind of square. I mean, there's a lot of detailing that goes into this, and you're going to want to probably detail these buildings a little bit more. Kind of what we're going for here, so I'm going to go ahead and control this up. There we go, and I'm going to select the top one here, and we're going to move this around a little bit. And possibly put a top one as well. I'm going to adjust those signs. Just a moment. Alright, so we're going to move this and actually put it on top of there. That actually will be quite nice. There we go. And again, we can actually, in fact, I'm going to do that now. Let's get the sign 2 there. There we go. And really, we only need like one ticket sign. I think I'm actually going to get rid of some of those and maybe just use one big sign rather than having like 4 individual ticket signs. If I can just get this thing selected, like, I don't know why it's so hard. Clicking all over the place, trying to get this selected. I don't see why it's selecting stuff behind it first. There we go. Alright, I could use the bigger sign, or I could just stick this one right here, which I actually think looks quite nice. So, we're going to go with that. And try and see what other kind of things I can actually put in here. And again, you just got to go through and just kind of find what looks good sometimes. Like, usually these aren't supposed to be turned sideways, but I kind of like the way they look over here, in a sense, on the edges there. And it looks kind of cool. And we'll put a couple of these here as well. And you got a nice little styled ticket booth off to the side that where guests can actually purchase some tickets. And yeah, it looks really cool. I think I'm actually going to add a little bit of a thing here. We're going to rotate this actually this way. And let's actually use the small one so I can get a little bit more precise here. That way it kind of looks like that counter when you're purchasing tickets and stuff that guests can lean on and stuff. And we'll go ahead, copy this all the way across for all the windows. And going all the way through. And there you go, a nice little ticket booth, which actually looks really cool. I feel like we could decorate these up here just a little bit more, to be honest. But probably just add a couple bit of trims here that will look good. So I kind of want to use something different. We'll just make this the same color. So we're just gonna use this kind of as a little bit of a trim here for the little spire building. which looks actually pretty good. Excellent. Alright, I'm actually going to reuse this on the backside as well. And then I think we can also go ahead and create a little bit of a fence up here, just for extra supports. And if we go over here to this, I don't know if the angle snap will work in my favor or not. Sure looks like it will. At least I'm hoping. And I don't want the fence as tall, so we're just going to lower that a little bit. Alright, and that's it. So we'll take these two and drag them over here to the front. And that looks quite good. Alright, and then we just gotta get this one placed in its proper spot. And try and align it as best as we can. Not always going to be perfect, but it works. And then just for a little extra supported detail, we can put a door over on this wall. Very small door, of course. Very small door. So it looks like people can actually access the top here. Guess we'll put it on that side too. There we go. Beautiful. And you can never go wrong with actually adding more and more different kinds of details, as long as it looks good and goes well. So you can we're gonna add some window boxes up here, just for a little added detail. There we go. And we got a successful ticket booth off to the side now. Now, you really don't really need much more than that, if you really don't. I mean, you can go as far, kind of like what I do sometimes, is I'll even create some, like, buildings for, like, guest relations and stuff, even just for added stuff, you know. You don't have to have guest relations, but most parks pretty much do. And let's make sure this is all blowing in the same direction. I have some flags up here too, but not as massive. Sweet. So it's a nice little entrance building. You know, you can always add more, and I kind of like to add around the pathway to make it look less square. And you can actually add objects in front of these to make sure guests won't go through. Even if you don't have anything interactive over here, they're not going to really walk over here in the first place. That's kind of why I usually use the information booths a lot for different situations, because they'll actually use that to, and they'll actually use it, which actually is really nice. So there's a lot of different things you can do. You literally can create more buildings that head around here and just create a nice little entrance area. So the next thing we can actually add is another building over off to the side here. And what I'm actually going to do, this actually seems like cheating a little bit, but we're going to copy this building, and like I said, this probably looks a little bit like cheating, which I'm actually going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do Control X. I think that'll work a little bit better. And we're going to add this to this side. Alright, so the only differences is that it is reversed, so we're going to have to adjust that, obviously. But what we're going to, let's make sure this is lined up properly, like that. Alright, so we're going to have to edit this building and make some notable changes here. And we're just going to get this all set up so we don't have to completely rebuild another building. And I know it does seem a little bit lazy, and you'd probably be right. Oh gosh, I did something wrong. There we go. So I'm going to get rid of all this. In fact, I don't think I am going to. What we're going to be doing, so I'm actually going to select all this. These top pieces, all the top pieces here. Because what we're going to need, we're going to have to do something special here. And we got to make sure we don't forget a piece, any pieces here. So I'm going to take each and every piece. Carefully select everyone. The wrong selection could get rid of everything, which is what we don't want. Make sure all our walls are selected, which they are. You're selected, you're selected. Okay, I think we're good. And we're going to move. Well, poop. Those walls aren't selected, but that's okay because we can actually just move them. And we're just going to rotate this around because that's actually how it is on the other side as well. Well, actually, it's not. I actually have to move them closer this way. Because there's actually that right there. That's where it needs to go. Alright. Alright, now we gotta adjust the walls here that we've messed up. Oh, and I forgot to lower it down. Dang it. Oh. I go through, make sure everything's perfect, and I still somehow manage to mess something up. What are the odds? What are the odds of that? I can't believe I didn't see that, and I didn't get the flag. I thought I had the flag selected. That's okay. This is me trying to cheat and still failing because... Oh gosh. I got myself in a little bit of a mess here. I guess I didn't get all those selected. Nope, nope, nope. Alright, so you're gonna go here, but I need you... Alright, we're gonna turn the grid height off. Right there. Perfect. I don't know why there's an extra one of these here. Because it actually goes right over there. By the time I get this done, it's gonna be the amount of time of literally everything I did. Okay. My point is here, we're trying to save a little bit of time. Alright, good. We can always move the pieces if we need to. Alright, now we need the corner piece, which I don't know where it is. Alright, we're going to get rid of that. These are corner pieces. Or going to be, rather. We just have to, like, convert it and make it reversed, in a way, because it's going to be a cloned building. That is what we need. Alright, so that there. And that there. That there. There, okay. Alright, there's that. So, we've successfully cloned it to the other side. I still need to move the flags. The flags that will never be selected. Make them blow the exact same way. Of course. We're all good. Alright, so we can actually have like two different ticket sides, which actually works fairly well because that is a total of 8 windows for tickets, which actually works pretty good. And now we have to further this by building more buildings to fill up these sides here. So I'm going to start on this side. Whoops. And this time we're not going to be angled. We're just going to go all the way down here. And because I'm not a big fan of square or rectangle buildings, I'm going to make them with an interesting layout. Different kind of way. So what we're going to do now is go back down. All these buildings are going to have a similar style to them, which is important. Because the entrance, you know, you don't have to make them all have the same style, but you can. Alright, and I like that shape, and it will actually work out really nicely. So we're going to go to flat roofs, rough concrete. I'm going to use the rough concrete for, we're going to go ahead and use the flat roof to get started here. And this is going to be slightly taller. Because that's kind of the idea there. And then we can use these roofs. Alright, check. Not check. Now we're checked. And Joe has not stopped noticing you at all. I keep my eye on the comments, but I also focus on what I'm doing so I don't get distracted. There we go. Because there's work to be done. There's work to be done. Alright, so we're going to go and get similar trims for this. Alright, let's go ahead and make our red that we've been using. Alright, hopefully this will work. Yes, it will. We're just gonna do this all the way down. All the way down the line. Just to get those details right off the bat. Kind of like so. Alright, now we're gonna rotate you and use you the other way. And you start way up there. And we're going to do Control X on just this one, because I think it might actually continue. Yeah. Which makes my life much easier. Just slightly. There we go, and I'm going to hold Control and select all these pieces, and we're going to copy it on the lower level as well. And I use this, I do use this kind of trim a lot, but I try to make it look a little bit unique. Alright, so what we're going to do on this side is I'm actually going to get rid of some of these. So I have an opening. And we're going to put a door here. And this is a fantastic door I can use. And just for extra layer detail, we'll put a window over the top of it. Not that one. We can use that one. Alright, we'll just use single ones for this. I think it'll look good. And yeah, so we're gonna add a sign for this, and we're gonna go to Misc Signs, and we're going to actually add. Let's see what kind of sign we're gonna add. Just whatever kind of one we want. That will fit this nicely. And this sign is going to say Guest Relations. Alright, this is going to be our Guest Relations building. Alright, let's change the color of that. Like so. And make this a little bit darker. That looks pretty good. Alright, now we're going to go and find some awnings for this as well. I kind of wanted to, I did the single one because I kind of wanted to use something different. We can have two different colors on this. Interesting. I have that unique red and yellow here. We're going to hold X. I'm going to actually use these across. Kind of like that. I kind of like these. I don't use them very often, but I like them. Alright, let's go down to scenery. And get back to the window boxes, because window boxes are very good, important. I think they just add that nice detail of, you know, this the flowers, make it look pretty. Something we still have to focus on a lot of is actually lighting as well. Make sure this place is lit up at night. Alright, so we got a nice little entrance area going on here. I don't know what you guys think, but I think it's starting to look pretty decent. And we're not going to add any spires or anything to these buildings. These buildings are going to be a little bit different. So we're going to add a similar building to this side as well. And it's up to you if you want stuff symmetrical, but I usually keep my stuff, for the most part, pretty symmetrical. Let me fix this right here. There's an extra stuff going on there. Alright, let's go to our building now. And we are going to. Now this one I'm not going to duplicate, obviously, because it would be completely... Well, I could duplicate it. I'm going to be lazy. This one will actually be a lot easier to duplicate than the last one. So what we can do, actually... Oh, I thought it was going to be. Gosh darn it. Never mind. We'll build it from scratch. Now that I think about it. This is going to be a lot easier. So it's going to be a similar building, like I was saying. So we're going to have the same kind of deal going on here. There's a lot of different buildings you can use for entrance areas. Guest relations is a good one. Tickets is a good one. Security is a good one. You know, based off of some real life actual things that you can use, so. You know, Lost and Found building is also a good one, which can kind of maybe tie into guest relations a little bit. I don't know. Just whatever you want to do, it is your park. But again, I'm going to go ahead and after I'm finished with this, I will upload it to the Steam Workshop. So if you guys want a simple, easy park entrance, and you know, I would personally take it and maybe just modify it a little bit to your liking. If that's what you want to do, just to get you kind of started. Sometimes I do like to do that, is take some of the community curations from the Steam Workshop and actually change them to my likings a little bit. Alright, and then I have the key one. Oops. That's not how roofs work. At least I don't think they do. Alright, we're going to go back here and we're going to actually get this done. Alright, again, very similar building looking building. In fact, we're going to use and do the same thing kind of with the kind of what it's going to look like here. So we're going to go back to this, hold X, get the same color. And we're going to create kind of this trim here. I don't want it to stick out too much. And we will copy it on down the line. And I think I'm going to go ahead and go with like a security building or something like that. Where security is. This can also be where Lost and Found is. I don't know. Just kind of however you look at it in a way. And then it's pretty much completes the entrance area, and you can add like some nice scenery in the front here. And as you can see, having the buildings kind of angled makes the path layout look a little bit more unique as well, and that's kind of like why I do that. Alright, so we're gonna do the same. Oh gosh. We're gonna do the same thing here. Gonna create a top piece. Line that up. Nice little roof. It serves as a nice, pretty nice roof trim. For the most part. There we go. Now, it's always nice because then you can literally just copy and or duplicate it and move it down to where the appropriate areas, like that. And then there's one down here, like that. All right, so those are looking very similar, pretty good. All that's left to do is to add, of course. So that actually worked out pretty well. All right, so we're gonna add a door here. We're gonna use the exact same door because that one actually looks pretty good. And what did I use for the top one? Window? This one. Yes. Very good. I made it kind of even. Kind of like that. And then for these windows, I just had these. And the awning. We'll use the same awning. Just to make them look the same. I'm just going to raise these up. Alright, they're pretty close to the tip there. There we go. And that is going to do that. We pretty much have a duplicated building onto the other side. And now we're just going to get the wall sign up there. We're going to use the same sign. Except this one's going to say something different. See if I can click on the custom text. Security. Excellent. There we go. And look at that entrance. Looking quite good. You can decorate the sides as well. But nice little entrance area. And what we got to do now is fill in the gaps here. Just in the slightest. So what we're going to do is select the grid. And I am going to fill those up. Going to do it on both sides. That way there's no gaps for the pathways. Kind of like so. And now we're going to add even more layers of detail here. And what we're going to do is put a little bit of an entrance here part that we can use. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually use this piece. It's better to start on this side. I'm actually going to lower it down a considerable amount. And we are going to track this all the way down here. We can even connect it to that if we'd like. Alright, so this is pretty simple. Because we're going to be able to copy this as well. And do it to the other side, so we only have to do it once. So I'm going to go ahead and go to scenery, and of course we're going to fill this up with some grass structures here. So we're going to get rid of that align to surface. Might even be easier to just use advanced move tool and just move it on down. Fill this up with the grass, make it nice and green. Great, and this is actually where we can actually add some trees. This is always a great decorative tree to use, regardless, you know, of what anyone says. This is a great tree to use for your entrances. And why don't we put a little bit of flour in there? Get some flowers. Yeah. That's great. And some lampposts. Light things up at night. That is one thing that we still have to do. Is actually add some lights to this area. Here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and add it here anyways. Alright, so that's a nice thing. You can actually use this for something else too if you want. As for, I don't know how long you said it ago, but what am I trying to build? I'm actually building an entrance, just like the title says. And I'm actually going to upload it to the Steam Workshop for everyone to use, for whoever wants to use it. So I'm going to actually upload this entire structure to the Steam Workshop, just to help you get started if you have trouble, you know, maybe getting started with entrances or something like that. I think it's a nice little entrance to use. And you can make it your own modifications, of course, if you want. And it's just a very basic entrance that I came up with that I thought would be kind of neat. Now, I don't decorate the outsides of them. I mean, I could, but I just haven't. Because if they're not going to be seen by anyone, you don't want to waste the rendering for it to render that stuff if it's not even going to use it. It'd be kind of pointless. Alright, I'm going to try and make this exactly as even as possible. There we go. And ta-da! And look at that entrance. It's looking quite nice. And then we can also go into scenery. Add some park benches along the sides here. Let's see, where am I putting this? Right here, I guess. And also a couple litter bins. This is never a bad idea. And look at that. It's pretty massive, pretty good. And what we're going to want to do now, I'm going to add just a couple of windows here just because they kind of are in sight. Let's go back to the color that I wanted. And just use the colors that we have been using for these. I don't understand why it does that. That's kind of weird. I've never understood it. Control D. Alright, we'll leave that one open, kind of like that. And, we will just add. We'll go ahead and add this down here just because I feel like it still looks a little bit naked. But that is the only reason. Alright, we're going to have to do this to this side now, obviously. And here we go. Decorations. And the same thing. Whoops. Hate it when that doesn't work. Alright, make sure these are nice and centered. Bada boom. Oh gosh. Went down a road I did not want to go there. Okay. And now we'll rotate this one more time. We're almost done here. Place. And ta-da. Check it out. And we can just place a couple of bushes along the side. That way it looks nice and pretty. Couple of trees around. Just a couple. Whoops, not like that. Whoop. And there. Alright. I think that's gonna do it for that. And there is a nice little entrance. Alright, I took a screenshot of that because it looks pretty neat. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and select everything here. So what we're going to do is actually select these buildings. Also go ahead and select that, these, and we'll select the trees too. You don't need the trees, but I think you get up to 2,000 objects total, so I guess you can't select those anyways. Can't select can you not really? You cannot select benches, park benches and stuff, but you guys can place that yourself, I suppose. It is not my place. Oh, come on. I hate when you click somewhere and it literally deselects everything. Like, really? It's one of those things like, really? Like, I don't feel like if you click somewhere that can't be selected, that it should deselect the entire thing. Alright, first off, these should all be joined. There you go. Alright, is that all selected? That's all selected. That's all selected. Let me get the couple trees. I'm gonna get this, no problem. Oh my gosh! Why didn't I think of this before? Just click and drag. Everything here is going in, so. There we go. Alright, it's 1,108 things, total of 8 buildings. And I hope you guys do enjoy. If you do want to subscribe to this, I will be uploading it to the Steam Workshop as of right now. I'm currently working on this blueprint. Just like so. Alright, so I'm going to call this generic entrance. Generic entrance, good for most parks. Hope you enjoy. Yeah, alright, so as for tags, we can, I think there's actually different buildings, like, put under large buildings, and then we can, ticket booths, park entrances, because that's what it is. Nature, special effects. Okay. That'll work for tags. Create the blueprint. And now that I got that as a blueprint, I will upload it to the Steam Workshop. If anyone wants to use it, you're more than welcome to. It was a lot of fun to create this awesome entrance. I thought I actually did. It turned out pretty well. And you just gotta cover it in Pathway, of course, and it actually turns out pretty nicely. And you can add whatever you want to it, change anything up that you want, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this entrance. It looks really cool, and you might even want to add maybe some fountains into this or something like that. And it was really cool. So tickets, guest relations, and security buildings all marked on here, and I hope you guys do enjoy it if you do choose to use it, and if you do, I hope you like it and stuff like that. So anyways, that's about all I got for you guys today. Just kind of like yesterday's, I just kind of wanted to make something that I would upload to the Steam Workshop and something that other people can use. So it's nothing too fancy or advanced. It's just a nice little entrance building that anyone can use. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Make sure you have a great day and an even cooler tomorrow. Thanks so much, guys, and goodbye.